Meanwhile, on a typical scene on the news show, Gen V.
Hey, Emma, it's me, Marie Moreau. Oh, fuck, motherfucker, just stepped in fucking dog shit. Oh, so anyway, you want to eat lunch with me on the quad?
Dog shit? That's a dick of a penis thing to do. Ugh, I really wish I could smoke out of a bong and get fucked. Anyway, what are you eating?
I'm just eating like a tuna fish sandwich. Oh, motherfucking pork balls. I have a fucking dick inside my sandwich. Jesus. Oh my God, who's that coming over there?
Oh, it's Professor Ravier. He's just jizzing all over with his relepathy powers.
Oh, right. And is that Boira Baggart?
That's Boira Baggart.
The assistant? Well, fuck. She looks like a cunt. Anyway.
Are you getting a sense of intrigue around here?
I am, but hold on a second. What day is it?
Oh, fuck. Isn't it Tuesday?
Oh, no. It's my time of the month. Fuck.
Gross. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 275 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am your host, Brett. That is your host, EvilJeff. Hi, Evil.
That? I'm a that? Yes, I am.
That? You should have seen the way I pointed when I said that over there. That's faggot. For those of you who don't know, EvilJeff and I don't record in the same room. We haven't even seen each other in a long time. This is pure audio, baby. We call each other and you listen in to our phone conversation.
Yes, it's been over a year since we've seen each other face to face.
It really has. Do you think you and I should start like doing this over Zoom? Ew.
Okay. I would love to start doing video versions of these.
Okay, we can. You know what we could do?
And then we could also release them on YouTube, and then they could become.
I was going to say
go TikTok trending.
Yeah, we can even do live over YouTube, and then just have the audio of the live show be our weekly show.
Look at us planning our show.
Look at us planning season 3 of the show that has gone 75 episodes. 275. If this were Duolingo and this were like a streak, we would be fluent and we would get a special animation because we hit a milestone round number.
Not me. When I went to Paris, this is before Duolingo, this was like 2009. I spent 4 months doing a learn French every day in my car when I drove to and from work in Chicago. And I didn't retain.
You didn't pick up
anything. The only thing I thought was funny is that the word for shower was le douche.
Le douche.
And I was like, douche.
That is funny.
I said douche.
That is funny.
That reminds me of my favorite. What's the sound of a water truck crashing into a vinegar truck? Douche.
I am actually I just hit a 200-day streak on Duolingo Italian. And if you ask me to speak Italian, I'm so sorry, I cannot.
I just remember my grandmother would go, destadoro. Which meant you have you're hard-headed. My
grandmother would always go manajuriao whenever she was frustrated. I still don't know what those words are or what that means.
And I talked to other Italian people. And granted, my grandmother, they were from a small village in Sicily, but we were taught that fart was a bad word. Yeah. So we said bisciatta. And no one else. I've asked other Italian people and they're like, that's not the word for fart. And I'm like, what?
Then what's bisciatta?
What is that? Why were we taught to say that?
Is that even an Italian word?
It sounds Italian.
What does it mean? Biscuit?
I don't know. It sounds Italian.
Bruschetta?
Biscotte.
You're just saying bruschetta.
Bruschetta.
So our Italian side of the family did not say fart either.
What did you say?
We called them bunnies. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud.
We called it the gravy.
I've never told this, but this was such a, oh my God, that's what we called red sauce.
Yeah.
This was such a word in my family. And like me and my sister would never use it outside of my family. Like, oh, you did a bunny. We would never say that to our friends.
Yeah. It's so funny thinking back then. No, because I remember I was like 5 years old and someone farted and I went, oh my God, someone beshotted. And everyone's like, what are you talking about, you freak?
Oh my God.
And then I had to be, beginning of my bullying.
And that it was all because of beshotted.
It was all down. They're like, Andy talks like a girl. And at that time also I had a lazy eye and I had to wear a patch over my eye.
Oh my God.
My glasses.
That's like that Simpsons episode where he had like the thick glasses.
It was.
And his
huge glasses with a patch over the eye. Super malnourished skinny because I was a picky eater. Didn't want to eat anything. And then sashaying around like a girl. Oh.
With an eye patch.
With an eye patch.
Going, but who
nowadays I would be celebrated. Back
you would be celebrated.
It was like, throw it in the fire.
You would be intersectional.
Anyway, is there any hot topics?
No, nothing is happening in the world of comics. Should we hit the music?
For X-Men?
Hot topics?
Or for hot topics. Wait, is there
Let's
a hot
see what
topic?
happens.
Oh, okay. Hit the music for hot topics. We got some hot topics. Yeah. I love how you're like not telling me that there might be a hot topic. There is a hot topic?
No, I got nothing. Sorry, we played that music for no reason.
Oh, there isn't a hot topic.
I seriously don't have anything. There is no hot topic. We could talk about Loki premiering.
I thought you were gonna bring something up about like what we were gonna be doing in a few weeks.
No, I have no tea. Oh, you mean New York Comic Con?
Yeah.
Oh, I can talk about New York Comic Con. Girl, okay. We're going to be shoving our press pass in everyone's face who dares to look at me and say, what the fuck are you doing? Where are you going? I'm going to hold up my press pass and be like, anywhere I fucking want, bitch.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be walking around with a press badge, honey.
You'll be like, move it, I'm gay.
Move, I'm gay, and I'm part of the press. Lois Lane, give me the scoop. I'm just going to walk up to people and be like, you better give me this motherfucking tea. I got my pad. I got my pencil. I am licking the point.
I love how all of your questions would be like, so love the new movie you're in. Now tell me, who's a cunt? Is it you?
That actually was my favorite line from Gen V. You're a cunt, Harper. Anyway, We'll talk about Gen V later.
Yeah. Our opening was very much like a typical scene from Gen V.
It's like, we'll talk about it. Okay. But back to New York Comic Con. I think what I'm going to do, babe, is I'm going to voice memo the fuck out of the interviews I've been weaseling my way into.
Yes.
And maybe we'll do like, I'll actually do some production. And instead of you having to do it, and like I'll slice together like a fucking hackneyed makeshift show composed of interview clips.
Love it. Love it.
And they'll be like, is this comic book queers? This is a very different format than I'm used to. And we're going to be like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, because there's famous people in it now.
Now there's famous people in it. And Brett touched all their legs. Every interview is you're going to hear somebody go, stop that. And if you're wondering why they're saying that, it's because I'm putting my hand up their thigh ever so gently while they're talking about their movie or show.
And we're just throwing this out there. This is all jokes. We are not, Brett is not planning to sexually assault anybody.
That's not true. I mean, that is true. What you said is true. What I was saying was jokes.
You were like, true. No, it's not true. I am going to do it.
A double negative. What do you mean?
A double negative? You mean you have photographs?
Photographs.
All right. Well, here's and that is the thing is that's the problem with us is we tend to talk about how hot people are, but there is a problem as we age and get closer to the age of 50. I do have this weird thing where I feel like after the age of 50, you stop being like just a fun guy who thinks a guy is hot. You become a creep. A creep. Yeah. So I just want to preface all of our things of we are creeps, but we are keeping it over the pod. Just let us say it over the podcast. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do anything in real life that's gross. Well, I mean, gay stuff, yes, but nothing.
They're for entertainment purposes only. Yes. Like what we are going for is you to like, we say something outrageous. All we want you to do is put your hand, like the top of your fingers over your lips ever so gently and go, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's all we're going for.
Exactly. Because we know the deal. We know who we are. Do you think if we are at a bar, are we going to walk up to a 22-year-old and be like, hey, can I touch your penis? No.
Oh my God.
No. Now, granted, if they come up to us and be like, hey, daddy, that's a different story.
Hey, daddy, can I touch your daddy penis? I'll be like,
I don't like being called daddy. It's just like,
I don't either.
I just will start crying, being like, I'm old.
That happened to me. That just happened to me. Somebody called me daddy in a bar, and I was like, bitch, get the fuck out my face.
Yeah, I've had that where people on Scruff would be like, hey, daddy, you want to breed this bussy? And I was like, come over so I can slit your fucking throat. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Violent.
Anyway, as I was saying, we're nice to people.
What's our hot topic? Oh, New York Comic Con. Oh my God. Now, see, we just got really like weird and rapey, and now nobody's going to.
No, but we were talking about how we weren't. But that isn't the weird thing, is when you try to be like, hey guys, we're not creeps. It totally sounds like we're creeps. It's like a double-edged sword.
No, I'm literally just giving you candy out of this van.
Fuck. I told you my biggest fear. Did I talk about this before? My biggest fear ever of what I never want to become.
What?
Back in the days, young children who might be listening to this, when you had to get a porn, it was you had to go to a video store.
The back room of the video store.
And there was a rules. The rules are you don't make eye contact. You don't fucking talk to anybody.
You don't question what each other is reaching for.
Because imagine when children today, you go to jerk off, you flip open your laptop, and you're typing in the disgusting things you want to look for. Imagine you having to do that next to complete strangers. Oh, sorry, don't mind me while I'm in the bondage section looking at the pornos. Like, there's just no judgment. I was in there one day, me and one other dude were just perusing the pornography. In walks in Quentin Crisp or Liberace, like some 80-year-old queen. And he just walked in and just went, oh, yes. Oh, and he was like picking up titles going, oh, look at him.
Oh,
yes. Oh, yeah. And me and that guy made eye contact like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
This one's touching his own nipples.
Like Snagglepuss. Like 80-year-old Snagglepuss has entered the building and he's going to kill us. And
Somebody just came in and like Oscar Wilde it all over.
And I was like, I never want to be that. So that's my biggest fear. Yeah.
Why do I feel like you're doomed to that fate?
No, I know. And that's the thing is like one day I'm going to like do that. I'm going to look into like, I'll catch my glimpse of myself in a window and I'll be like, oh, no, it's happened.
Oh my God. But not at New York Comic Con, which I'm so excited for. Also, I'm upset. I'm going to miss the Marvel next big thing panel because I'm going to be taking a picture with, Chris Evans.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God. All right. We need to stop this conversation because now I'm going to start to talk about all the things I want to do to Chris Evans with. Okay.
But let's just say we can do this separately in a fantasy. If you had Chris Evans and it was like, okay, we're going to have sex. What do you going to start with?
You can do one thing to me. All right, what do you start with?
Yeah, what are you going to start with? All right, you could do two things of all so I'm talking about kissing, rimming, blowing, fucked, and getting fucked. You could pick two. What would it be?
Two?
Yeah.
And is the assumption that he is down for it, whatever it be?
Yes, but you can only do two things. Like, I know what I would pick.
Okay. I would pick, if it's Chris Evans,
I would pick making out and bottoming.
Yeah, so would I.
Okay. I mean, I really would love to suck his dick too. I'd love to eat his butt too.
It was definitely bottoming, but I would love to eat his butt out. I would love to, have him like grab me by the hair and hold my hair back and like in a mean voice, like say all the things he's going to do to me.
Yeah.
Or just like passionate making out.
Now, would you want him to be Chris Evans or would you want him to be Captain America?
No, I would want him to be the character he played in the low budget independent film Puncture that came out right before Endgame.
Okay. All right. And then I'll have him be his character in Knives Out and he will kill me at the end of it.
Oh my God. I'll have him be his character from Cellular. While he's having sex with me, he's also trying to save Kim Basinger, who's communicating to him through a pieced together cell phone.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll have him be from the Fantastic Four movie and then he'll set me on fire at the end.
Yeah. I'll have him be from Not Another Teen Movie where he's in the whipped cream bikini.
Okay, I think it's time to move on to the X-Men.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Hit the music.
I was reading X-Men comics in a cocktail bar. That much is true. Yeah.
X-Men.
Okay, so Amazon Prime has got a new series called X-Men. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got confused.
Okay.
Let's talk about X-Men books. What came out?
A lot of stuff came out. We have 5 books to talk about. 5.
5?
5. Yes, just the 5.
What are the 5?
X-Men books should be like Kleenex, soft, strong, and disposable. I don't know why we keep
You lure X-Men books to their death like a spider with X-Men books. X-Men books are where X-Men books are most vulnerable.
All right, if it wasn't X-Men books, then who wasn't? It was you, X-Men books, wasn't it?
Yes, but I put it down. Where? In the X-Men books. Where? I don't know. Before I X-Men, after I books, I don't know.
But any of you could have X-Men booked. Okay, all right, stop with the clue things. Let's start with maybe Jean Grey.
Let's start with Jean Grey, just like the X-Men.
Jean Grey,
Jean Grey is a what if. It's a series of what ifs where Jean, in her dying moments, is trying to piece together where it all went wrong. If she just made a different decision, maybe things would have been better in the past.
Yeah, so she's like, hey, what about when I turned into the Phoenix riding that rocket?
Oh, what about when I piloted the shuttle down and became the Phoenix?
What if I let Logan do it?
What if I let Logan do it?
Well, it turns out
this was silly.
Logan turned into the Phoenix.
This was silly.
I also found it weird that the Phoenix still chose whoever was piloting. I don't think that's how that worked. But anyway.
Right. Anyway.
It still wanted Jean. But in this, Logan, because Logan pilots planes, he becomes Phoenix Wolverine. And then spikes come out of all over his body, which he can then shoot at will.
He becomes Dark Porcupine.
Yeah. And so Jean Grey and Cyclops go to Weapon X, where he's murdering everybody. But then it's like, I can't control the Phoenix. Please kill me. And then it passes off to Cyclops, and then Wolverine kills Cyclops, and then the Phoenix goes back to him, and then Jean kills him. And then, or does Jean kill him, or does he just kill himself?
He kills himself.
He kills himself, and then Jean's standing there like, oh, well, that didn't do anything. But you know what it did do? It did do something, Brett. Do you know what it did do? Do you know what happened after in this world? A billion people on a planet did not die.
Did not die. Thank you.
And she's like,
nope, that didn't
rather have
work.
Wolverine. Don't care about those billion people.
It worked for the Tabari. She's like, anyway.
Fuck that plant food.
How come when Jean Grey makes different decisions, they wind up getting these weird woven wrapped around themselves costumes?
Yeah.
These tunics.
Yeah. I kind of like their outfits.
Wild.
I don't mind them.
I mean, I don't mind them.
But then it looks like she's like, oh, maybe if I change Inferno, Madeline Pryor. I'm like, yeah, that's going to go terribly.
That's going to go terribly. She's like, maybe if we switched her to over boob instead of under boob.
But I feel like in the end, she's just going to get all the way to the president. She's like, you know what? I did everything right. I'm perfect.
I've never done anything wrong, and we know this, and we love you. That's so weird. And Jean Grey never comes back again. That is such a great ending for this character. You know what? Upon reflection, I did everything right. Goodbye.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Goodbye forever. Rachel, you're Phoenix now.
Oh, God. What's next?
What's next? You want to talk about a little Realm of X?
Sure.
This,
was it the same artist as last time?
I think so.
This art
maybe. I don't know. It's wild to me. Typhoid Mary is wild to me.
Typhoid Mary is what is happening in this?
Every time I saw Typhoid Mary drawn in this book, I was like, what are we doing? What is And Marrow too. Marrow looks like a Barbie with like bones coming out of her.
Yeah, I guess here's the thing is like, I'm just not feeling any real relationships between anyone. The most real interesting thing is between Curse and Saturnine. And when the most interesting people are the villains, then you're rooting for the villains. And then the most interesting character is Magic. And they're like, hey, how about we don't give her any powers to make her all sad? How about that's like the worst idea ever?
It really, I don't know if I feel like this is.
Why is she even there? Why is she there?
I mean, she's going to do something, I feel like.
But
something
she's
that's
not in
pivotal.
any of the prophecies. Is that how it changes the prophecy?
But I think, isn't that like the thing? Like, she's not in any of the prophecies, so she's absolutely going to be the one to save it all.
Ugh, right now it's just, there's the stakes aren't staken for me.
They're not. The stakes aren't staken.
I'm more interested in Curse. Like Saturnine's like, she just said, I hope Curse. These toads come out of your mouth. And she brought back an extinct species. Like, do you understand how powerful she is?
Yeah,
like,
love this.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
This is the interesting stuff.
She's a reality warper, yeah.
And then meanwhile, it's like Marrow and Danny Moonstar are like, hey, let's get into a fight with some dude for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Magic's studying some like ancient books, but then decides she's not good enough, and she writes a letter and then disappears at the end. And actually, the part about that I want to focus on is the letter, because maybe it isn't a data page, but just letters in general. This Fall of X era, instead of data pages, we've got these pages of just long prose, like. Instead of data pages, we now have emails and letters that we have to read. Yeah, I don't want to read a page of tiny ass. Stop giving me fucking homework. I'm reading a comic book, not a book.
Yeah.
I don't want to read a book. Do you know how many times I skip this shit?
Yeah. I just skim for like, is there anything important? Maybe if I read on and I have no idea what's happening, then I might go back to it.
Yeah, I mean, this book, I'm not feeling the characters. I don't know.
And that's what it comes down to.
This person hanging upside down in Saturnine's
She was the one.
Office.
She was they talked about that. She was the one person who wrote the towers and acts like the seer that was talking about the wall spell.
Oh, yeah.
And she writes like poems. That's her. Right. Who cares? I think it's the thing. They really need to I think they forget how to hunker down and really just concentrate on the relationships. Having, like maybe rather than it being like, oh, Typhoid Mary might fuck this random dude and cheat on her husband. I don't
like.
Who cares? How about we have her interacting with the other ex-women because she has never done that before. Like that's
right. Like exploring what her place in this community is.
Exactly. Have them explore relationships between each other. It's all about relationships. If you don't have a dynamic going on in the relationships of the team, you are not going to care about the battle. You're not going to care about the war.
Yeah, it's also it's odd that it's Marrow and not Rain. It's odd that, I mean, like Dust, I don't mind, but
Dust is cool, so that's fine.
Dust is cool, but I guess I would just rather this be the New Mutants, rather than random, X characters, who really don't have established relationships, and just like the adventure isn't even interesting enough to carry the story.
Anyway, we're done with that one.
Sorry to this man.
How about we do a little Ms. Marvel?
Yeah, okay. First of all, love the art in this book.
Yeah, this one's good. This one's fun. Has this person done other stuff?
I'm not sure. But yes, I'm sure. Probably. Don't know what though.
But I also like how I was like, I don't understand. I don't know. There's sometimes where it's like, the writer is what's her nuts?
It's Iman Vellani.
Vellani. So Iman Vellani, she is kind of like, oh, hey, here's a little plot hole.
I'm sorry, and Sabir Pirzada. She's not writing it alone.
Oh, okay. But anyway, they're like, oh, here's a little plot hole. Let's try to patch this up. So it's kind of like, oh, hey, we put a cloaking device on her face so that people can't see that when she came out as like Ms. Marvel with just a little mask on and the X-Men outfit, that they can't tell that that's one of the students.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, great. But then later on, they're like, oh, hey, here's a drone and the drone attached to her. But now we need to like wait for her to fall asleep and then we can figure out where she is. And I'm like, huh? Your drone doesn't have like a tracking device? So then there's like a whole other plot hole that got like built up. There's always like little plot holes here that I'm just like, I find it very odd that they can't figure out who the fuck she is. But at least they wrote in Emma Frost going, you were an idiot that you let them figure out who the fuck you are.
Yes. And it's great in the age of Hazel Kendall. It's so nice to see Emma, who I was like, what the fuck is she doing out of Hazel Kendall? And she even says to Kamala, what is she? I'm presenting myself in my true form to you telepathically. That's why you're seeing me like this.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like these little things that are just, that have to be explained. Yeah. Like, these things, there's so many things in this book that are happening that must come with a, oh, by the way. Yeah. You're like, oh, okay. Thank you for explaining that. I wish you wouldn't have to.
Yeah. Where I think this just needs to, but I still like, but you know why but I am allowing a lot of it because I feel there's interesting relationships going on.
Yes.
Between people. And that's what makes it viable. Yeah.
Between the Karima Omega Sentinel and the villain, the Orcus villain,
they're gonna fuck.
Who's running the school. That's a good relationship. They're gonna fuck. Bruno and Ms. Marvel, I mean,
they got a great relationship. Yeah, I do feel that her roommate is a secret agent or something. She's probably going to turn out to be evil. Also, I loved how flirty Tony Stark was.
With Emma.
He's like,
so this is the point I wanted to make.
We'll talk about it when we get to Invincible Iron Man.
But this is the first time we're seeing their post-marriage relationship. We probably should have talked about Iron Man first because this takes place after.
You're right.
They're already married here, and we're seeing them as a married couple the first time, and it's good. It's good.
He's into it. This is what they've been.
He's into it, and so is she.
But that's
and she's doing her Emma thing.
But you know what? They're both into alphas. They both want like someone who's take charge. Well, I think maybe Tony Stark didn't realize he wanted that. But Emma Frost, she's like, oh, I'll get an alpha. I'll get Cyclops, the leader. Cyclops is like a beta in alpha clothing. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like Cyclops is secretly bending over, put it up my butt.
Yeah, I mean,
Tony Stark is not like
he's the captain because he feels like he has to be.
Exactly.
He was told he had to be.
I'm so depressed.
He has the tactical brain. Yeah.
Can you feed my ego? Please feed my ego. She doesn't need to feed Tony Stark's ego. She needs to calm it down. She needs to calm it down and be like, hey, shut the fuck up. You're nothing compared to me, bitch. And he's like, what? Oh, I like this. I want them to stay together. I like them as a couple. And I've been reading some comments and people are like, oh my God, this is so horrible. Why would they ever be together? I'm like, am I crazy that I'm the only one that thinks this is amazing?
They're having fun.
Yeah.
They're clearly having fun with each other while they're like plotting to take down all of Orcus. It's amazing.
Someone who has literally read probably 100 forced marriage romance novels, at least. Yeah. The best part is when they're realizing that, oh, the time where we don't need to, we can give up the facade of the marriage soon. And then they realize, but we don't want to. And I'm waiting for that. And it better happen. Where then they're like, maybe we don't stop being married. What if we just stay together? I'd love that.
These two writers, they write a good Emma.
Yeah.
They even that when the last thing Emma says to Ms. Marvel is like, I don't want to I don't want to be cradling your body in my arms like I've done with so many young mutants. Like I'm rather tired of that. Like, ugh.
Well, even when it's like you understand her because she was like, hey, I know I shouldn't have done this, but I had to like save all those students. And she's like, all right, yeah, I get it.
She's like, I totally get it. Yeah.
I totally get it. But you're still dumb. Like you should have, also it's like, can I talk to Sync and Talon and be like, why did you give her an X-Men suit that has X's on it when we're in a covert team, dummies?
Right.
This is more on
right.
Sync's.
I mean, they're new, they're new. They're new to this leading the X-Men gig. Emma is the best character. She look because she's thriving right now. Fall of X, best thing to ever happen to this woman. She's marrying Iron Man. She's mentoring Ms. Marvel. What's next? A role in the MCU?
Played by someone who can act. Yes, that was a dig at January Jones, and I'm not over it.
Fuck her. Oh my God. That just flew out of my mouth.
Yeah, honey, I almost died after seeing her perform in that movie. I got into the worst car accident I've ever been coming home from that movie. Flipped over on the 101. Flipped over on the 101.
You should want to know it,
watch my
Jones.
podcast with me and Ron Hill on The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie and Katya. I tell the entire story. It's dramatic.
Do Trixie and Katya treat you well?
Yeah, they're great.
Okay, moving on.
Anyway.
So wait, her fanfic creation. Can we talk about this?
Okay.
So it turns out this half Silver Surfer, half Doctor Strange character is a character that's been appearing to Kamala in her dreams, is a fanfic creation of her own making. Do you think this might, are we getting into her mutant powers with these weird
Oh, is she
dreams,
like that the Doom Patrol character?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, like Dorothy Spinner?
Yeah. Who was the one that she created, the superhero that she created?
Yeah, I forget. Oh, yeah. The one in the show? The one who was in Gerard Way's Doom Patrol, the ambulance driver. Yeah. Space Case.
Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, we need to figure that out. Right now, I'm just going along with it because I have no idea what any of it. It seems like it's important, but I don't know what any of it means.
Yeah.
Right now, it still just feels like metaphorical of like, I don't know who I am. Who do I choose?
Yeah, but maybe there's something more to it.
But it is weird of like, but there, because it was like, oh, am I part of the Marvels? Go with Ms. Marvel. Am I part of the Champions? Am I part of the Avengers? Am I part of the X-Men? So it's like, those are all the four paths. But the other path is like this Silver Strange. So it is like, what is that?
Yeah.
But then she's like, I made it up. It could be a thing in the end. We're like, I know what the path is. The path is me and my creativity. And then you're like, boom.
I wonder if exactly. Oh my God, you're so right. That's totally what it's going to be. But do you think could she have powers like Danny Moonstar? Like instead of your greatest fear, like Ms. Marvel can manifest like your imagination?
I don't know. I think that's another issue is I want her to have a power that kind of enhances or goes along with her inhuman power.
Right.
I don't want something that's just like completely random and different.
Although, like when she stretches, it makes a cool noise, and that's her mutant power.
Shut the fuck up. I don't know. But I mean, although you could say Emma turning into diamond form is completely different, but it's so her.
But it's so her, right? So that's why this like, oh, I can create these cool characters with my mind. That's so
Raven.
Ms. Marvel.
That's what it is. She's going to have that so Raven powers. Premonitions.
Oh, and she's precog.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. And I'll give the final decision once they establish it.
I just want her powers to be her fucking powers on movies and TV so that when people know the character, they're like, okay, she's got those hard light powers. Thank you. And
did you ever notice about when is this book coming out? Have you noticed like the convenience of when this book is coming out? What's important
right
about
before
it?
The Marvels.
Yeah. So I have a feeling maybe the reveal of her mutant power might come out in both at the same time.
Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. So keep the hard light as the stretching analog. And then we're going to be getting a new mutant power, both in the comics and in the movies at the same time.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We're always, we're sometimes we get it right, and other times we're like, oh, that was completely wrong.
You know what I'd like to see in Captain Marvel 2, aka the Marvels? Speaking of X-Men stuff, I'd like to see her go binary.
Yeah, binary, and also,
and then the Starjammers pick her up,
and then get Rogue in there.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and then the hot pirate guy who picks her up is like, have you seen my son? And people are like,
my name's Corsair.
What? Corsair?
Corsair. Does Corsair mean something?
I don't know. Was it like a ship?
I don't know. Or is it just like, I'm flying in space, so there's Corsair. Get it? Anyway, that's stupid. I'm sure there is, and there's someone listening right now being like, no, you're
Get
not.
Out.
All right. What else is there before Invincible? Is there another one?
I think that's it. I think it's just Iron Man.
All right. Let's talk about some Invincible Iron Man. We get the wedding.
It's the wedding. It's my kind of wedding.
And it's a bunch of lies because they keep showing these pictures.
Yeah, these covers.
These huge wedding banquets with every guest. No, the bitches, they're going to fucking Vegas, man.
Yeah, those covers, like the interlocking covers of them getting married. I mean, it was never literal. Jean Grey is standing there.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
I'm
but
not
it's still a lie.
I'm talking to them. Oh, it's a lie. It's a vicious lie.
But
this book is good. I liked it.
I love it. It also just shows you, it does have some repeats of kind of just recreates the scene, but showing it from Iron Man's perspective.
Angle. Yeah.
Where apparently he is kind of like, oh shit. He gets a hold of Rhodey, and then Rhodey gets a hold of him, and then they're like, you called me? No, I didn't call you. And then he's like, oh fuck. If we didn't call each other, then this is a setup.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Fei Long walks in like, hey, and he's like, oh, Fei Long wants me to hear you being killed, run. And all of the prisoners are about to jump him. But it looks like Fisk sent some people to prison to protect him.
Amazing. I loved this.
We get Sandman
and Living Laser.
But he doesn't have his powers.
By the way, I don't know. He's.
Oh wait, they're just turned off. I think they said they just had him turned off.
Oh yeah. So very cool. But now, I mean, anytime Wilson Fisk does you a favor, like,
yeah,
are you okay? No, you're not.
No, because when you have to return that favor, it's like, go and murder this person, or like you're like, oh fuck.
But it also gives you. I like the window into what emotional state Tony was in when this getting caught by Fei Long and having to propose to Emma, like what state he was in that moment, which you didn't really get to see in the X-Men book.
No. And because he's very much like, hey, and I think that's the thing is he's like, we need to play the long game. I need to get this information. You can't just go in and fucking kill him right away. I need to get this information. But she just was talking to Kate Pride. So she's like ready to fucking murder.
She's ready to murder.
So he was able to calm her down. And not a lot of people can do that.
Not a lot of people can get Emma to chill.
And so,
just saying.
Yeah. So they decide to go get married in Vegas, and he purposely tells Fei Long, you are not invited to the wedding.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's like, oh, well, I'm going to have to come to that wedding.
No, I'm definitely coming.
Oh my God. He's such a fucking loser.
I know. So predictable. One thing I loved is Emma and Tony are having the telepathic conversation when he's down on one knee.
Yeah.
And then they're having the telepathic conversation about like, let's just do this. And then, we'll get vengeance. And then the only thing he says out loud is, I promise to make all of your dreams come true. Like Fei Long hears that and thinks it's a marriage thing, but we hear it and know he's talking about like, if we do this, we're going to take down Orcus.
Where then she's like, and enjoy the first and last time you may touch me. And it's like, that's so not true. It's not true. You're going to love it. If they break up at the end of this, they're going to be so sad.
Well, there's the great line where he sees her when they're about to get married.
Yeah. That's where my hope is. But we don't see where Emma is not crumbling. But Tony Stark he's okay, so when he walks in and sees her, she's not wearing white. She's wearing they're both wearing red. Red for blood. Red. Love it.
Yes.
But here, I'm going to read out loud what he walks in and sees her right before they're about to get married. She looked beautiful. She was courageous and witty, and I knew this was an arrangement, a means to an end. But I didn't need to be a futurist to take one look at the woman and know Emma Frost was going to break my heart. And damn, I was looking forward to it. He's already in. He's already in love. He's already in love with her. But is she going to cave? I think the problem is this is the other thing that's going to be tricky. What might happen is she might be like, hey, you know what? I've been looking for Cyclops and I think Cyclops is dead. And I think I'm going to need to move on. Let's fall in love. And then it's going to be like, Cyclops is alive. And then she's going to be like, oh, and then she's going to be torn. Ugh. And then he's going to be like, I'm going to go find Jean Grey and bring her back to life. And then Emma Frost is going to be like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? He's going to always choose Jean.
Yeah.
Fucking choose Tony. I love it. But Emma Frost, they use the whole ruse of the wedding as they're getting married. Because he has to take the ring off and put the ring on her, he's able to do it real quick and jump into his mind. And I like when they jump through, she's dressed as the old White Queen and he's the old Iron Man.
That's so good.
And he's able to watch the video of his dad that Fei Long erased, and he was able to get all of the information. And it turns out, what's this secret element and information? Mysterium.
Gee. A lot of talk and a big sample of Mysterium in a book about a man who makes metal suits. I wonder where this is going.
Yeah. Wait, where? Where do you...
I think he's going to make a suit out of Mysterium.
Oh, a Mysterium suit. Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. We're going to get Mysterium armor. I also loved the art of Emma like going into his mind deep.
Yeah. And that's where they're looking at here. It turns out Fei Long is a kid of mutants. Now, is his pink skin natural? Or did he do that?
No, I think that's experimentation.
Experimentations on him. He is a human of two mutants, and that's why he hates mutants. I love it. I love it.
He's great in Creed, the son of Mystique and Sabretooth.
Yeah, and he's powers. Just like, they're just like, oh, what a fucking pathetic piece of shit. And then she's like, yeah, you might have remembered, but I'm going to erase your memory. And you don't remember that this happened.
I mean, it's so great that in the middle of them invading Fei Long's mind, he becomes aware of it and he tries to do something about it, but she's just very good.
Yeah, she's and like...
You're not...
Yeah, she's like, sorry, babe. You're not going to win this shit.
No, this is handled. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. And then now it looks like they're going to go to space to get some Mysterium.
Oh, so great. But how about like his nose is bleeding because of the mind invasion?
Yeah.
And Emma just goes, tissue, sir?
This actually reminds me, I've been catching up on What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Have you watched it? Did you watch that show?
I've seen an episode or two, yes.
You need to watch it. It's amazing. And there's one where they're like trying to get... One of the characters is de-aged and they're trying to like put him in a school. So the headmaster comes to to visit the house. And then he's like, all right, so who are the parents? And then they hypnotize him. So he goes to sleep and they're like, oh my God, who's the parents? And basically they just keep He keeps asking questions. They're like, sleep. Oh, fuck. Okay, wait, what is it? And they just keep doing it over and over and over again. And then he ends up dying of a stroke because they're like, oh, yeah, we're not supposed to hypnotize someone 400 times in a row. It's so good. This is great. This and X-Men, like this story is my favorite, of course. And I will tell you this. I know it's like, oh, we'll give you some Emma Frost and then Jeff and Brett are like appeased. We are picky. We still want, like, this has great art. It has great storytelling. It's got the characters done right.
Talk about great characterization and relationships. Yeah. Yes. And it's just like, it's high stakes.
I do think there are people, there's probably some fucking cucks out there that are mad that this is an X story and not really an Iron Man story.
It's so ridiculous. It's a Marvel story. Everybody wake up.
Yeah. Wake up and smell the coffee.
Wake up and smell the coffee.
My favorite time of day is night. You ever see that commercial? Sorry.
No.
High Point Coffee. Lauren Bacall used to do these High Point Coffee commercials in like the late 70s, early 80s. And there's just one where she just opens up and she goes, my favorite time of day is night. And at night, I don't want too much caffeine because caffeine can show on your face. And that's why I have High Point Coffee. It's decaffeinated. Oh my God, watch them. They're amazing.
Amazing. I'm old enough to stay up late and fuck, but I'm not old enough to stay up. I'm not old enough to drink caffeine after 4 p.m.
I have a
Sorry, that came out wrong. Cut that.
It doesn't affect him. Like he will drink like we would go to the bars. I'm like, let's go to a diner. And he's like, get me a cup of coffee. I'm like, it's 2 a.m. And he's like, I'll go sleep. Doesn't matter. I was like, amazing.
Not me.
I can't have
just
any
saying
caffeine.
The word coffee. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Caffeine makes me look like I'm a tweaker. I'm like shaking.
Oh, girl, the caffeine.
I'm like, it's terrible.
Okay. Isn't that how they talk in Animal Crossing?
Yeah. Should we move on to something we watched?
Let's talk about Gen V.
Or X-Men meets Euphoria. Hit the music.
I always feel like I'm watching a comic movie or TV.
This is just X-Men meets Euphoria.
So it really is. Have we watched all 3 episodes that are on Amazon available?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Like, I watched it and I was just like, man, I wish this was called New Mutants. And I wish it was the New Mutants characters. And it just wasn't as like harsh. I sure would love that.
It wasn't as harsh?
It feels very like gross.
You didn't think it was gross?
No, I wish it wasn't as harsh.
Oh, you wish it wasn't as harsh. Oh, okay. I always thought you were like, it's not enough. I need more dicks.
No. I can't have Ileana Rasputin being like, I got a dick through my mouth. Like, yeah, no.
But here's the deal is why do you feel, and I agree with you, why do you feel that it works in The Boys, but it's not working here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it works here.
Oh, you do? I feel it's a little more. I feel it's a little more forced here than it is in The Boys.
I will say that because The Boys did set that expectation, and it is very much violence that should be steeped in like a toxically masculine story like The Boys.
But I do, But I do feel
I do think it is a little forced here. I do.
I think the reason is I feel like because it's high end stakes. It does feel like those gross, horrible things, orgies and death and murder would happen. But now that we're in college, it feels a little more ham-fisted trying to fit that many fucks. Because I will tell you, as soon as I was watching with Joe and he was like, do you notice like every line someone's saying fuck? And it was like true. The next like 10 lines, someone was like, what the fuck, man? Shit, fuck. And I was like, oh, and it just feels like someone wrote the script and then the producers came in. They're like, no, you need to add like 10 more fucks in every 5 seconds.
This isn't on brand. You need to add fucks and blood.
Which I feel it like didn't necessarily. And I think that's my point is it
totally get that.
It. And I don't hate the show. I actually kind of like it. And I just felt a lot of
I really like it.
But every once in a while, there are moments where it did work. Like Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid.
Yeah, so he's the quote unquote star.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna spoil the shit out of Gen V. So spoilers from here on.
Spoiler alert. There's a character called Jordan Lee, he's a character that can switch genders and has super strength. And one of my favorite characters, and amazing.
And also other stuff. I just felt like there was other stuff going on.
Oh, it looked like there was some weird like force field
coming out of their hands. Yeah.
Yeah, some energy projection. So it's still more needs to be said on like what their powers are. But they are non-binary. Well, it's weird. They're not non-binary. They're dual binary. Because it's not they can go back and forth between full female and full male.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting. But there is one fight scene between them and Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, Luke.
Golden
where there's just
boy,
like a
Luke.
close-up of a punch into the penis.
Yes.
And that is where I'm like, okay, this is okay. There's another where one of the characters, Emma, can shrink down. And then there's a jerk-off scene of her small. That part was a little too much for me.
Those things have payoffs though.
They do.
There was a line earlier in the show when so Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, Golden Boy, he's basically the Human Torch with super strength. They all have every V hero. I feel like they all have super strength and invulnerability on top of whatever their power is.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you get super strength as your power, it's like, well, okay, that's what everyone else got too. But there's a line when his clothes burn off about like his dick hanging there. Yeah. And then later to like they punch the dick because they brought up, it was like Chekhov's dick.
Yeah, no. And
it was Chekhov's fiery dick. Yeah.
And sometimes it does work. Like I will say, Chance Perdomo. How do you say his last name?
Chance Perdomo.
He plays a character, Andre, and he's like the telekinetic.
No.
Wait. What?
Magneto. He's Magneto.
Is it metal that he moves?
Yeah, it's metal. That's why his dad is polarity.
Glass. I thought he made that thing out of glass.
No. It was metal. His dad is polarity, who was like the Magneto on the Seven. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even pay attention.
So his whole thing is like he's going to be the new polarity. That's how. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it. That does make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, he's the new Magneto. And the part where he's hitting on a girl and creates like a little swan. He's like, I'm going to move it over there to that guy. And then someone bumps into him and it makes him slice a girl's throat open. That was pretty.
And like, that's the kind of stuff that feels like the boys' brand of violence recontextualized to be about these college kids. Like it would be that kind of stuff happening rather than like slugfest stuff. Like, I don't know, like it would be sex stuff, drug stuff, and oops stuff, where all like the gore and the craziness comes from. And I feel like they're good about that with this age group of characters.
Yeah. And basically the main character is Marie Moreau. We see her when she is like 12 years old. She gets her first period.
Tragic. Oh my God.
The blood. She's like, oh, I control the blood. Mom walks in like, oh, my little girl has her first period. She scared her. The blood kills the mom. Dad walks in. Blood explodes. Kills the dad. His sister sees it. You're a freak. I hate you.
You're a fucking monster.
And now
she's X-Men, right?
Yeah, yes. And now here she is. And now here she is in like a home for kids with powers. And apparently, if you have powers and you're a little out of control and you don't have a parent or guardian to like take you in, you get like put away in some adult facility where you'll never see.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like, oh, I'm going to college. But they're like, you're going to college. But just to let you know, if you get in trouble with the law, you will be put away in this facility.
To this like rehabilitation center.
Yeah. So she's kind of like, I need to make sure I keep my period powers in check and just lay my head low. But that
so
is
I can get
not
into,
what happens. Yeah.
So I can get into Godalkin University.
Yeah.
And
Godalkin, what does that sound like? Gray Malkin?
What?
Right?
It sound like what? I'm sorry.
Gray Malkin?
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God. And wait, wasn't there a line in one episode where somebody looks at someone else and goes uncanny?
Uncanny. And then they look like, what? I like that, where they're like, yes, we're ripping off the X-Men.
No, we get it. We know.
And I will say this, so far, it is not like, this is Iceman, this is Jean Grey. I mean, there is one that's like sort of Magneto.
Which is what The Boys is. Yes.
I do like that it's like, oh, we're just going to do our own thing.
Original. Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun. Anyway, it turns out that the one thing I will say with Marie Moreau, she can control blood. And at first they're like, whatever. She also not only can control blood, when that blood comes out, girl, that's a lot of blood. Like, that's like you'd be tired. So she can also, I feel, regenerate blood pretty fast.
So she typically, and there's a lot of disclaimers about scenes of self-harm. And I think her power is a lot to do with that. It's like she has to cut her palms.
I do think it is so strange. It's so crazy that we're like
weird
trigger warning, self-harm, but it's like, but she explains later how it's like the one girl, when she becomes small, Emma, she has to vomit to become smaller and she has to eat to become bigger. So it's also like, they're like, oh, you have an eating disorder. She's like, I don't, I'm just using my powers. And she's like, well, you have a cutting thing. I don't, I'm just using my powers. And I will say, I think there is a difference between cutting yourself to use powers and cutting yourself because you're depressed and sad. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the same self-harm. So I kind of felt it weird having a trigger warning when it's not. Well, also being like, trigger warning, she's going to cut her palm. When 5 minutes later, someone's punching a dick and ripping people's arms off.
No, I know. But if you have been around, somebody who died by suicide and maybe happened to die by suicide in that way, that is very triggering to see somebody doing that.
I think it would also be triggering if you see someone like slit someone's throat or like, I find, I'm not saying you should not do trigger warning. Hey, trust me, because I don't know. Part of me feels the trigger warning is actually an extra reminder of it. Like, oh, I wasn't even thinking.
No, I know.
That was a trigger warning.
Here's that context you might have.
Because I'll tell you this, like in today's world, you don't need to remind me that hard where I'm like, oh yeah, I could just blow my brains out. Oh yeah, that's.
Girl, don't say that.
I'm just sorry. I know it's dark. Hey, and I'm not talking about everybody else.
This episode
I'm just talking about me. I'm just talking about me. I am someone where if you see me at work, I threaten my life 10 times
just to get out of assignments.
No, literally, it's like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, I would rather blow my brains out than work on that edit right now. Like I say that all the time and I know it is bad. So I guess trigger warning for this whole episode that I'm talking about this. But
trigger warning just to talk to you in life.
No, seriously. Hey, I was told once by HR to stop bringing up the apocalypse during lunch and the lunchroom. I am one of those people. Yeah. So I am not the person that these messages are made for because I'm like, I want more suicide talk. But I will tell you this. I was thinking about Marie Moreau's powers, and I do find it interesting that she can only control the blood when it's outside the body. And I think that is potential for an expansion of her powers. I think she should be able to control the blood when it is in the body.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
and I think if they give that extra level up, at some point during the show, she's going to be crazy powerful. Like she literally can just move people and throw them around, have the blood come out of their body. She's going to be super powerful. I hope they incorporate that into her powers.
Yeah, and that's one thing I want to see. I want to see power growth in these characters.
Exactly, because that's the thing is, hey, we are X-Men people, so we are going to dig into the powers. That's our favorite thing. What is the weird powers that these people are going to have?
So one character who happens to be my favorite, why? Because she's a little reminiscent of one of our other favorites, is Kate, who is the pusher.
Yeah.
Who now, if she has to touch your skin, so she wears gloves a lot, so she doesn't accidentally. So that's very rogue. But she's a funny, sassy, pretty blonde with mind powers who's good for a joke or a quip or sneak a bottle of vodka away. Sound like anyone we love? She reminds me a lot of Emma Frost.
I feel she has a little right now she's actually has a little too much heart for Emma, because I feel like the Jordan Lee is more of the
more closed off.
I feel like those two together form the Emma, but because they're separated, I think she's the popular girl, but you can see, but she's like depressed. I think she's too depressed and traumatized to be Emma, which I like that as a character. I like it. But she reminds me a lot of the Umbrella Academy. What's that? The Rumor.
Yeah. Yes. But her power is interesting in that she will hemorrhage her brain. Her eyes were bloodshot because she had just pushed somebody, or she started convulsing because she was pushing people too hard or too many people.
And that's the other thing, is when you push people, how long does the push last? That's another thing I want to know about her powers. Is it permanent? Because that's a thing where it's just like, hey, I want you to like me. How long does that last for?
How long does that last?
Fuck. I will say this is the worst power to have, because how do you not become? She seems way too good of a person to have these powers.
Oh, how do you just, right.
And I think it is explained later. They explained that when she first used her powers, she told her brother to get lost and never come back. And he disappeared and never came back.
Disappeared.
And I think maybe that's what got her so that she's not evil. Because can you imagine having this power?
Ugh.
If you had this power, what did you just say?
I would kind of hate it. I would.
Oh, I thought you just said, I don't need it.
No.
I thought you were like, girl, I can already do it. No, hate it. But imagine you go to interview Chris Evans and you were like, hey, wouldn't it be great if we went to my hotel after this? And he was like, all right. That's what I mean.
I couldn't live with myself because it wasn't him.
But in a weird way, that's rape. So I guess you have to
Yes, it absolutely is. It's Purple Man shit.
Yeah.
I would hate that power.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it. That's why I never wanted telepathy. I don't want to know what people really think about me.
Oh,
Most people don't say nice shit to my face. I don't know what they're really thinking.
Right. I don't need to know that shit. I don't need to know at all.
Now, telekinesis.
Okay.
I'm here for.
Weather control?
Gimme. Fly. Yeah. Am I a Nicki fan?
I just want any power that's going to allow me to fly up in the air, hold my arms out horizontally, and just have crazy shit, whether it be Phoenix Fire, Storm Lightning, I don't care. I just want to be able to shoot up in the air and people look up and be like, oh, fuck.
I love how your power, you're only concerned with the entrance.
Just the moment. I just want my moment.
And they're like, save us. You're like, oh, I can't actually do anything. This is all just light effects.
You know what I would do you know, sometimes I fantasize of oh my God, we all got random powers and what happened to me? I would love to be turned into a Nightcrawler. I would love to be I'm horrific. And people be like, no, you're not. You're beautiful. I don't know. I wouldn't mind looking like a demon. Okay. I wouldn't mind.
Said by someone.
I wouldn't mind looking like Nightcrawler. I wouldn't mind.
Give me a break. Oh my God, I'm just cursed with my good looks. Fuck off.
Speaking of, no, it's not that. I just want to look cool. Speaking of tails.
Yeah.
There's a girl on Gen V with a tail. Her name is Harper.
You're a cunt, Harper.
And her shitty friend, who not only says at one point, you're a cunt, Harper, also forces her to suck her own tail on camera. And it's the funniest. The funniest scene because she chokes on it for a second.
Yeah.
She gags.
So the friend, I think her name's Justine. What is her powers?
I don't know.
It hasn't been revealed yet what she does.
Being a fucking bitch.
She's such a cunt. Ugh.
Oh my God.
She exposes that the one girl, Emma, is believed to use her powers. So she exposes it, but she exposes it we need to battle the patriarchy because she's just doing it under all of this wokeness, but it's all just for likes and views. Ugh, it's just horrifying.
She's so fake.
Yeah.
And she probably has a power where it's she has illusion powers and you probably strip her illusion away and she's some hideous creature.
Ugly. Yeah. Oh, I like
she's
that.
She's an old lady.
Yeah. And the main plot of this is how underground there's a hidden place under the school called the Woods where it looks like they're experimenting maybe on all of these on students that are too much of a problem. And Luke Patrick Schwarzenegger, his brother is trapped there, and they thought the brother committed suicide. But apparently he was still alive.
And we left it with Emma, our little shrink down character, going in to save him because she was recruited by
They clearly
Magneto.
start to like each other.
Yes. But then she kills somebody very gruesomely.
Yes.
But it was good.
But I will say, the guy Sam, who's the brother of Luke, they showed like upcoming episodes and the like previews, and it looks like he views the world where everybody's a puppet. Did you see that?
Oh, really? No.
Similar to kind of like Angel. Remember in Angel where everybody was puppets?
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, this looks awesome. That's going to be fun.
Oh, that looks great. He's going to be a fun character.
And we get some cameos from, from some of the
from our head popping senator, the Deep. Always a pleasure to see Chase Crawford as the Deep. Ashley. No,
and because The Boys has been delayed because of the strikes.
Because of the strike.
Because that was supposed to come out shortly, but now it's not going to come out probably till early next year.
Yeah. What I really love about this show is watching these characters come together as like a friend group or a team, whatever you want to call it. Like, I just love that where like the characters start off kind of knowing each other because they coexist in the same space, but then they start to form like a tribe or a bond. Like you can see Kate and Jordan and Marie are starting to really gel and become friends.
Although part of me is like, is that too soon though? Episode 3, and it seemed like they've all kind of patched up all their issues.
Well, yeah.
So let's hope we still need a few things. We still need some betrayals and other things to pop up to make the dynamics. Because I was saying like, oh, they're all getting along. Wait, is that bad or is that good?
Well, I think you're starting to see that there's like, they see potential in one another.
Yeah.
And like there's potential for, let's call it a team like the New Mutants to form on this show.
It's good. It's fun.
Part of it like is a little like, okay, we're going to base a power off an eating disorder. We're going to base a power off self-harm. We're going to base a power off being non-binary. And like, I'm like, okay. Like, I don't not like it, but I see you.
It's trying a little too hard. There's a point
it's trying a little too hard. Thank you for that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like let those issues come up naturally rather than, I think it's what you said, rather than starting with the issue. It comes across as insincere.
Let's get there. Yeah.
I can smell a lie like a fart in a car.
It's good.
Can I talk about another show that I finally watched?
Yeah, oh my God.
I binged the fuck out of it.
What?
Because it's Halloween and I needed to get this through before I started on his new show that's coming out. I finally
did you watch Midnight Mass?
Midnight Mass.
Yes, Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass.
I'll tell you this, it's a slow burn. It's slow.
Yes, it is, but
sometimes it is like, hey, we're going to pause and I'm going to have like a 10-minute monologue about racism or death.
Yep.
So you're like, okay. But I will say, other than that, it is great.
Once it gets going,
it's great. Yes. It
really
ramps
goes
up and it gets great. And that's the one thing is like, I finally was like, why are they all, because here, okay, spoilers. We're going to spoil this for you. It's basically a world where the priest, it's a small island. A priest comes back, but the priest is now young. They don't know it. He's pretending to be a different priest, but he's young because he's turned into a vampire. Yeah. And he believes this vampire that came with him that turned him is an angel. And now he has angel powers. And I suddenly, it took me many episodes being like, oh, this is a world where no one knows what a vampire is.
Yes, yes.
It took me a while to realize that because for a while I was like, is everyone stupid?
Yeah, is everyone stupid?
I almost wanted at the end of the show where like there's only 2 people left. I wanted the end line where the girl turns to the boy and just goes, "Oh, vampires!" and then just cuts
shit, he's a vampire. That's what like I would love for The Walking Dead to have ended with someone going, "Oh wait, there's zombies."
yeah,
because that's the one word never said on any any Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead.
Exactly.
No one has ever said zombie.
No one's ever heard of a vampire at midnight mass. And the thing that's amazing is because they hadn't heard of vampires, because vampires are demons of the devil. That's like, but because no one had heard of them in this world, these Catholics are like, it's angels. Oh, it's this. And just watching this show is one of the best critiques on organized
religion and small towns
I have ever seen. Because it just
yeah.
shows you how you literally can take literal demons and twist around and make it look like God. And that's when you realize like, oh, it's all bullshit. It's so good. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's very depressing.
It's great. What made it depressing? I'm fuzzy on it.
Everybody pretty much dies at the end of it.
Yeah.
Only two people live. Right? 2 people live.
The sheriff and his kid?
No. Because the kid becomes the vampire, and then the sheriff gets shot, and they go and start pray. They pray to Allah, like towards Mecca, as the sun comes up, and then you see the sheriff drop dead, and then the sun burns up. And the
sun burns away. That's right.
Oh, so depressing.
So wait, isn't it what's it, Flanagan's wife? Does she make it?
No, she sacrifices herself.
Jesus.
To kill she lets the angel eat her so she can stab his wings so he can't fly to safety.
She tears its wings with that. Yeah.
And then she dies too. Everybody fucking dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say it's like, everyone kind of, I mean, and then
listen, these Flanagan shows, they don't end happily ever. Like, think about how
are you the
House on
person
Haunted Hill?
Wait, you think that it's that they really never got out of it and they're all still? Is that are you in that camp?
Oh, I don't remember the House of Haunted Hill ending either.
The Haunting of Hill House has a happy ending. Haunting of Hill House has a sort of happy ending.
It does. Granted, they get away.
Yeah, I mean, granted, some of them die. Like,
they go up to that room and then they're trapped in that room for a while.
But people are saying at the end when it shows them all living their life, the window is all in the same place, and they're like they're all actually still stuck in that room.
Oh,
I was like, I don't want to believe that.
Subscribe to that.
I don't want to believe it.
But Bly Manor is so fun. I wept at the end of Bly Manor. I was sobbing.
But I will say this, and I'm sorry. But Flanagan has a blind spot.
What?
And it's
Pace.
It's Kate Siegel.
I know. Listen, I know. His
wife is just not that, and she's terrible. She doesn't ruin anything.
Not that good.
But especially with Midnight Mass, everyone's given these monologues and they kill it.
Yeah,
and then she's given a long monologue, and she just isn't that good at it.
Not good.
Oh, I'm so
totally
sorry.
agree. Did I got to talk about movies I watched.
Okay, what'd you watch?
Becky.
Becky.
Have you heard of Becky?
I know that there's a sequel to it. Isn't it where it's
Wrath of Becky?
Like a Wrath of Becky.
I watched both back to back.
I watched scenes of the second one on TikTok where it's like Proud Boys.
Yes.
She pisses off Proud Boys in a restaurant. She works at a diner, and then they decide to like rape and kill her family or whatever, and then like her
not that far, but
they try to kill her family, and then she comes after them.
Yes, they take her dog, and they kill the woman.
So it's like
she's
John Wick, but for a white trash girl instead of
Reeves. But Becky is where they kill her father. Okay. So Becky she's on vacation with her father, who's played by Joel McHale, and father's new wife and her son, so the stepbrother, and their house gets taken over by neo-Nazis who are searching for an object that's in the house. The head neo-Nazi is played by Kevin James. Swear to God.
That's kind of amazing.
It's pretty fucking amazing. And they wind up killing Joel McHale. And so Becky kills all the neo-Nazis as they're holding the stepmom and the son hostage just because she's an angry, fucked up kid.
But then why is she on her own in Wrath of Becky?
Because she gets entered into the foster system, but she keeps escaping.
So the stepmom is like, fuck you, beat it?
No, she left the stepmom and the stepbrother. She left them.
Oh, okay.
And they never really got along anyway. And so she was put in the foster system and then escaped the foster system, moved in with this old woman who then these Proud Boys kill. and they take her dog. And so she goes and fucks them up. Both movies. Like she's just, I love me a final girl. And she's up there with the greats.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
And it's our first foray into spooky season.
Spooky season.
Oh, I also watched for the first time Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I've never been a Halloween guy, so I'm trying to like get through them. I had no idea. One of the stars of that movie, who has never looked hotter, someone who I never really thought was that attractive, but in this movie, I was like, God damn, I am in heat. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, one of the stars of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah, you weren't aware that young Paul Rudd was super hot? Did you not see
Clueless? Clueless. I never thought he was attractive in Clueless.
What?
Nope.
Clueless? I was like getting boners that I had never.
Oh my God. I didn't understand. I didn't understand why she liked him.
What?
When Travis Bergenstock is right there.
Who is that? The gay character?
No. The skater. Breckenmeyer.
Ew, gross. No. I mean, I'd sleep with him too, but I'm a whore. No, Paul Rudd was the bee's knees.
I didn't think so.
Oh,
but he is so hot in this Halloween. Oh my God.
Oh, I just saw the stepmom in Becky was one of the judges on Canada's Drag Race.
Oh, really?
Brooklyn Heights. Yeah. She's a Canadian actress.
Oh, wow.
She was in Kim's Convenience with Simu Liu.
She was?
Yes.
Oh my God. Becky is gory. Becky and Wrath of Becky are gory.
I have a movie. Have you seen Talk to Me yet?
No, not yet. I'm dying to.
How about that? Let's do that. It's out on streaming now. So
it is?
Let's talk about that next week since we're going to do some spooky stuff.
I want to see Talk to Me. I want to see No One Will Save You, which is an alien movie.
I need to see that.
There's something called It Lives Inside in the movies right now. I don't know what that is, but it sounds scary.
I'll tell you this, that one with the aliens with no talking, my TikTok is like, this is like the best movie ever. And then I'll swipe.
Wait, I'm sorry. No talking?
There's no dialogue in that alien movie.
Shut up.
There's no dialogue.
Oh, I have to see it now.
But then other people, I flip and other people are like, this is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh shit, it's polarizing.
It's polarizing. It's polarizing like Lorna Dane.
Or Genevieve's, that guy's dead.
Or Chance Perdomo.
All right, well, we went pretty long on this one.
We did.
But sometimes, that's that extra 15 minutes, that's for you, our fans.
Those extra few inches, they matter.
Someone wrote to me recently and they were like, hey, I know you keep saying that you only have 3 listeners, but make it 4 because I love listening to you.
Oh, and it's multiple people saying that, or just the same person?
It was just one person.
True fourth.
One person said that. Yeah.
Yeah, a true fourth. Incredible.
Yay.
So EvilJeff, I am next week. I am doing another podcast.
For who?
During our normal recording time, so we're going to have to work something out.
Okay.
Yes,
what?
there's a new podcast that friend of the pod Jamie Girac and her boyfriend Tony are doing called Love in the Time of Hydra. It is a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. rewatch podcast, and I shall be joining them for episode 3 next week. Guess what? It's broadcast live on YouTube, and then you can pick up the audio anywhere podcasts are sold. That's where I got the idea from.
Amazing.
Yes. And so please check that out. It's called Love in the Time of Hydra. If you were an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, subscribe. If you never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe now is a good time to watch in a manner that aligns with the episodes covered on said podcast. Just saying. What a rewarding experience that would be.
Why don't you take us out, Brett?
Listen, if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or any of the comic books that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and things like that are based on, I have wonderful news for you.
Really?
Yes, because 9 out of 10 doctors agree that if you read comics, well, then that makes you queer. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.